Okay, welcome to the Tech Rome podcast. This is David Rogoski from Tech 387. I'm excited to bring on board, have a conversation with Taylor Jernigan, who's had a lot of success with us. It's going to be a great conversation around the roofing business and how he's leveraging that business and the insurance business to really help homeowners. So it's going to be a great conversation. Taylor, welcome to the podcast.
Good to be here. Yeah, I'm definitely excited to share everything that we've been working on to really empower homeowners whenever they're going through the roofing process through insurance, especially through insurance.
Okay, I love it. So, well, let's just get started for those who don't know you. Why don't you give a little background about yourself and maybe kind of tell us how you sort of evolved into starting this business?
Cool. All right. Yeah, I'll try to keep it short. As you know, I ramble on a little bit, but I started investing into real estate after I got out of the Navy, and from there, the Navy made me realize I never wanted to work for anybody ever again. The military will do that for you. It'll either you're good and you enjoy the military, or you absolutely hate it. And I hated the leadership there, so it pushed me to be an entrepreneur. So it led me into wholesaling houses. And then from there, I started buying real estate, and now I own, I don't even know, anywhere in the 20 to 30 houses, single-family houses. I've owned multifamily, ended up selling that deal, got out of it. Terrible tenants. I hate houses now. Basically, tenants stop paying, especially where the economy's going now. Tenants are really stopping paying. But while I was buying houses, I bought a bunch after hurricanes had come through, so they really wrecked the roofs. And so a lot of the houses I bought, I had to get roofs done on it. So I had to learn about the roofing process, and I was tired of paying roofing contractors their rates. So I ended up finding my own subcontractors, in which those guys were telling me, like, hey man, I really like all the work you're bringing us, give us more work. And so from there, as you can tell, I started a roofing business. So they just kept telling me to bring them work, and I was like, I can mark up the price on there. I know how much their labor costs are, so I might as well create a business out of this, and a cash flow business. So I started doing it, and then I really wanted to get into the insurance side because I know that's where the big checks were. Basically, the way I was taught was to offer free inspections for homeowners, go out there, get them to sign a contingent agreement that says we'll do the roof for whatever the insurance company pays out. And then in that contract, it's got a line that says whenever the insurance company agrees to pay out, that check goes to me as the contractor. So if they agree to pay $25,000, all of that money goes to me. And then you still legally owe me your deductible just based on how the contracts work with the insurance company. I can get in the weeds on that, but yeah, so from there, I found out that insurance companies pay a good bit more than what a roofer would do the roof for, and still leave plenty of profit margin. And so I started feeling for the homeowners, because they were still having to pay their deductible, as well as filing a claim. The insurance company can go up on your rate. So the method we were using a public adjuster to help inflate the rate, or inflate the insurance payout, which the only person that benefited was really me on the back end, because the more money I made, I still had a set price of what I was doing that roof for. So even though insurance would have paid this, by going the route we did, we made them pay this, and all that money went to me instead of the homeowner. So it really got me thinking. I was like, am I really in this business to help out homeowners? If so, why am I taking all that money? Because legally I couldn't give it to him as the roofer, because the way the contract's set up. So hence this business came along. And so now we advocate for the homeowners. We set them up with public adjusters themselves, instead of being the roofing company on there. We set them up directly with the public adjuster, who will offer them the free inspection, file the claim for them, argue with their insurance company, make sure that they pay out, because they're experts in building policy, or building code, and insurance policy. And then from there, once the insurance pays out, we take that scope of work, we submit it into our system, and allow every roofing company that's around, that we vetted, that's licensed and insured, to submit an offer for the homeowner, to submit a bid on what they would do it for. This way, the homeowner now has a choice. They are not locked under contract, like what happens all the time now. So we help them maximize their claim by setting them up with a public adjuster who advocates for them. And then we help them pay as little as they can for their roof and still get a very good top quality roof job done. And then that way, because where the economy's going, there's no telling. So, every extra dollar that a homeowner can save really helps.
Yeah, especially in this market. And so, I love your story because it really shows how, your life experiences, like they built on top of each other. You started out, and I think you had mentioned to me in the past that you're from Louisiana or spent a lot of time there. I know you're in Baton Rouge now. And so, when you were initially in the Navy, it just wasn't for you. It just, you realized that you really like to have control over your own destiny, which, really pushed you into entrepreneurship, which then in turn pushed you into becoming a real estate investor and flipping houses, etc. And then that whole experience, combined with the fact that you're in Louisiana, made you discover the roofing industry, because there's so many like hailstorms and hurricanes and other things in the Southeast where you are in the U.S. That this was typical. You saw some of the frustrations and just trying to get roofs fixed and going through the insurance process. It got to the point where it incentivized you to even start your own roofing business, because all of your subcontractors were always looking for more business, and you had the leads. So, you just had that creative thinking where you created a business out of that. But then that in turn kind of made you realize how inefficient the whole process is of the claims. And then from there, you were able to figure out how to maximize your profits as a roofing company by having these public adjusters sort of create these estimates that were on the high side of what was reasonable, I guess, for lack of a better way to say it. And then the roofers would know roughly what the insurance companies had approved, and so they could charge or they would set up agreements where the homeowner would be obligated to pay whatever the insurance company approved, less their deductible. And so the whole system ended up working out really well for the roofers, but it really didn't do much for the homeowner. They've had the pain and suffering of, like, if you have a hole in your roof, like, you need it fixed right away. They can't really bid out the process. They have to go through the whole administrative hassle of filing the claim, and then they've still got to pay their deductible, and they're not really getting any other benefit out of it. So you made this business. So now you have this idea about how to really help homeowners and kind of flip the whole process on its head. How did you, tell me a little bit more about at that stage where you had this idea, and then how you ended up meeting up with Tech 387, and maybe give us the story about, kind of how we started with you.
Yeah. So just to dive a little bit more into the reason that we had I made the switch to wanting to advocate for the homeowners was, like you had said, they if they have damage on their roof and it's leaking, it's kind of an immediate issue. So they don't really think let me call around to get the best bid. No, it's like, let me call around, whoever answers the phone, it can get out here to tarp my roof. That's what I'm going to go with. And then the roofers know that, so they get them to sign up. So there's a lack of, not necessarily, there is a lack of transparency as far as like the money side, but there's like an educational side where owning a house is a big investment. And then having a roof, they're not cheap. So you want insurance to take care of it. And these roofers, they prop themselves up as the specialist to help you out. But they're like self-serving, like they're doing that to help themselves. And then so by being that advocate for you on our end, we are not the roofing company. We get paid from the roofing company and from the adjuster. So everything that we do for you is free. And then so our whole thing is to educate the homeowners by setting them up with an advocate that is not going to take their entire claim, which are these public adjusters who are just, a lot of people just don't know about them. So to set them up with the public adjuster to really like put them at ease and say, hey, look, you're not getting screwed over. I'm going to advocate for you over this entire insurance policy. You're not under contract to get your roof done by anybody. And then once the insurance company pays out, you know how much you're getting paid, then you can make the decision from there. And that's whenever we took it a step further, and I knew, like, all right, we really got to have some tech on this stuff. So that's whenever I was like, I need to have a partner in this business that can really help me bring it to life on the tech side. And then I just happened to stumble across Dennis on, I think it was Y Combinator. I was on there to find a startup founder because I didn't really know about startup incubators or startup accelerators. I didn't know anything about it. I was just Googling, and then ended up finding Dennis had reached out to me. We had jumped on a meeting. Things honestly progressed very fast. I think we did 2 or 3 meetings before y'all had told me that y'all liked my idea and that y'all wanted to move forward. And that was literally just from the idea stage. And honestly, it didn't start out as just this. It started out as something else that kind of we tweaked along the way to get to this point. And then y'all went ahead and y'all built the MVP. We started doing the marketing to gain traction. And honestly, working with y'all, we've already gotten, 6 months in, and we just had launched, and we already have a couple of VCs interested in this thing. So like, honestly, that would have never happened without you. Whether that's a plug for y'all or not, like this, it literally never would have happened without y'all's relationships, because it's a big relationship game, and I understand. I know 0 venture capitalists. It would have taken a lot of cold calls that I probably wouldn't have made. I would have been grinding it out, trying to get users on board and trying to grow this thing off cash flow, and just asking everybody I knew for money to help me invest in it. So yeah, working with y'all was definitely a blessing.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll make sure I'll tell our editing team to make sure they include that shameless plug. Thank you very much. So you met, Dennis is, one of our business partners. You met him through Y Combinator as you were just looking, realizing that a piece of this business was going to require technical capabilities that you did not have. And so that was the initial thrust of it. So we ended up meeting, we got along. Would love to hear a little bit more about your experience with, what was the process that you went through with us? Tell us a little more about that.
Yeah, y'all had set aside, like we did the initial meetings, and then y'all had set aside a specific person, Omer, that I worked with for the first few weeks. Like me and Omer, we were hammering it out. He was asking me all the questions. I was filling out all the stuff because, again, it was literally just at the idea stage. Nothing had been formed. It was just ideas in my head and multiple notes in my phone, pages of notes in my phone. And he helped get it out of my head onto, I think we were using Figma, which I had never heard of, which was pretty damn cool. Like to where he could see it, and then he could start to understand it so that he could start to build it. And then he could develop the pitch deck. He could develop the marketing plan. He could develop like the framework for the app of what we wanted. So working with, y'all helped from the very beginning to where we are now, everything.
Yeah, so I remember we had the initial kind of brainstorming idea. We mapped out your plan on like in Figma in a visual way through a story map, and then that's when we started building out. We kind of we did some branding workshops. We kind of figured out what your brand was going to look like, your logo, etc. And then we just started building out the wireframes and getting the basis for the MVP. And I remember in your case, there's a lot of functionality, like in your bigger end game here. You have a lot of plans and a lot of different capabilities and benefits that you're going to provide not only to the homeowner but to roofers and to public adjusters. But in the beginning, I know we kind of had we're on a tight budget. We wanted to prove your idea first. We had to kind of narrow that down, and we started with a scheduling app just to kind of get things started. And then a lot of things we're doing manually for now, and then hopefully we'll raise some more funding so that way we can kind of build out your product further and get more of these benefits and features so you can expand. So it's been a process. It's been we're excited about it. We think you're heading in a great direction. What were some of the challenges that you experienced going through this?
Having to, like you had mentioned, that I was wanting a lot of features, a lot of things. So the challenges were narrowing down, like what's the most important right now? What can be done manually right now while we're not, drowning in leads, drowning in, appointments with the inspections and everything. So it was narrowing it down to like what do we need to make this thing function right now, the barest bones to get it out there into the market, without adding all the special extra features I want to do with adding up, because there are so many AI components that I really want to add to this thing to like really make it pop, which I know costs time and money to add in there. So it was mainly like wrapping my head around like what is an MVP, because a lot of the stuff was all new to me, because I'm not around the tech scene. From Louisiana, blue collar. So I've been in real estate. I've never like done the work myself. I've always been higher level of it, but still the tech side was all new to me. So it was just wrapping my head around that. So I mean, if somebody like me can come from blue collar to creating an app that helps bring stuff into tech, or bring the roofing industry for homeowners a technical advantage over it, however you say that, then anybody can do it.
Yeah, 100%. And I do also, in your case, because we're dealing with insurance companies and regulations, we had a lot of challenges on the legal side, just getting the right terms and conditions and disclaimers, etc. I know that took a lot of time, a lot of effort was put into by our legal partners on that. And I know that's still evolving and ongoing, but I think we finally got enough in place to where we could get you out there and get you started onboarding some roofers and public adjusters. And you're right. I mean, we've in our experience, we've seen a lot of founders spend, $300,000 to $500,000 and sometimes more than that on an MVP, only to find that there's it's usually one of two things. Either their idea just doesn't have as much demand as they were hoping, or the technology was built in such a way that it's not secure and it's not scalable. And so they start to get some traction, and then they can't use the technology anymore to grow it. And it becomes very frustrating. You spend $500,000 and now you have to start over from the beginning. And so, part of the way we try to add value for our partner founders, such as yourself, is definitely trying to build something with a low code technology and AI in a very inexpensive and fast and efficient way, but just enough to get you to get you some traction. So love where you are. Now you did mention that. Well, actually, before we jump into that, tell us a little bit more about your business model. I know people who are listening to this for the first time may not be familiar with the insurance process, with the roofing industry. I know you touched on it a little bit, but maybe help us in the best way you can. What is your business model? How are you making money?
Yeah. So I think that's the best part about this whole thing is the business model. So the key thing that we wanted to keep consistent with what's happening now with the free inspections. So the way we do that is by partnering with these public adjusters, public adjusting companies who have multiple adjusters underneath them. They also offer free inspections. So, and they not only, they don't just assist in filing the claim like a roofer does, they are legally able to file the claim for a homeowner as well as represent them to the best, possible outcome. So the business model is to set them up with a public adjuster. And on the front end, we also offer hail alerts to homeowners to give them a reason to have our app on their phone, which is just a bonus. But the business model itself is to set them up with a free inspection from a public adjuster who will then file, argue, and negotiate their entire claim. And then from there, once that is taken care of, it goes into our, once the claim has been approved, it now goes into our competitive bidding process where the roofers are able to bid on that job. And then so the way we get paid is from the public adjuster and then from the roofer that has their bid accepted, as well as these adjusters and the roofing companies pay a monthly subscription fee per market just to have access to it. So that was also the other thing is the MVP is I really want to quickly scale this out nationwide. Obviously, we have to do the traction, develop the marketing plan that crushes it. But it's at scale is where the business model really kicks in, is with the monthly subscription fees as well as the commissions per job. And it keeps it everything's free for the homeowner. They get the exact same thing that they would have gotten if they went with a roofing company, which is a far inferior option compared to what we have. They are not under contract with a roofer. So whenever we maximize our claim, that check goes to them. That goes directly into their bank account, to where then they receive a bid. And if the bid is less than the check that's in their bank account, they get to keep that money. With the roofing company, all that money goes to the roofer, and then they legally have to pay their deductible. So our business model is free for a homeowner, but not only free, we can keep them from having to pay their deductible. And potentially, with the savings, they can do whatever they need to do with the money, whether that's replace their HVAC unit, pay for groceries, pay the mortgage bill, pay whatever with it.
Yeah, and so like once you get to the point where you've got some network effects and you've got a lot of users and homeowners on the platform, then you become like this huge lead generation platform for both roofers and public adjusters. And so that gives them the reason to be willing to pay you a subscription fee to access the service, because then they can bid out on all of these projects that they otherwise would not even know exist, and increase their business. And so you can make subscriptions from both public adjusters and from roofers, and then you can even, once the claim is approved, I believe you can take a certain percentage of the fee of that claim. So you have multiple ways in which you can monetize this, which is really exciting. With respect to one of the keys for you is going to be getting as many users on the platform as possible. So now you already mentioned that you're going to provide a hailstorm alert as a great feature to give users a reason to download your app. You're also going to make it free for them, so there's no friction or barrier for them downloading your app. What other ways, like how else are you going to be able to get users onto this platform?
Yeah, it's all about brand awareness. So knowing that there isn't a better option for them when getting a roof. So their options are to go with a roofing company, to file the claim themselves, or to go directly to a public adjuster. If they go to a public adjuster, that's the best route for them right now. But with that public adjuster, once the claim is approved, now they have to contact roofing companies. They have to vet roofing companies. They have to make sure they're licensed and insured. They have schedule these roofing companies to come out to their property to view to take measurements and everything, and then submit bids. So going that route, yes, they've maximized their claim, but now they have to actually understand the whole process of getting bids from roofers. So we have shortened all of that. So we're the best option out there. So it's just brand awareness. It's getting them to understand that whenever they need a roof, using insurance, that we are the best option. And so by doing that, like we really just, it's all about, like I said, the brand awareness, and then having the hail alerts on their phone is just the icing on top to, like, hey, you already know this. If you own a house, you need HomeSource USA app on your phone, so that whenever you do get affected by a hailstorm, you might not even know it. You might be sleeping, but your roof might be getting damaged at night, and you might not ever know until a roofing company sends a door knocker to knock on your door and offer you a free inspection. But we want to eliminate all of that, so we send you the hail alert to where you can then schedule an inspection directly from the app without ever having to speak to anybody.
Definitely. I mean, because it is not a completely simple process, and not everyone understands it. So that's the challenge for you, is just helping people understand that you're the most convenient option when they have an issue, but you also are the most financially beneficial option as well, and kind of educating. And that's something I know that we're going to work with you on. We're going to partner together to try to figure out what's that best message, how do we market that, and I think that's the key. But I'm confident that that's going to happen, and we can see explosive growth once people understand what you're all about. I'd also love to hear you maybe give an example, like either from one of your earlier clients once you went live, or maybe in the past as a roofing in your roofing days. Can you give us an example of like a use case?
Yeah, so I'll give you two examples. One, whenever I was a roofer, on this one particular job, we worked with a public adjuster who ended up making the insurance company pay, I think it was $65,000. So again, how I was trained to get the homeowner to sign a contingent agreement, which meant that that entire check goes to me. So they had a deductible of $8,700, and the adjuster's fee, I think on that one came out to, let's just say 10%. I think it was around that. So $6,500. So right off the top came, 15 grand came off the top of that deal. And then, so legally, I have to charge this homeowner their deductible, which is insane to me that they get approved for $65,000. I ended up doing that job. I think it cost us around $25,000 to do that job. Like, that was labor, materials, and I outsourced. So that was, if I had an in-house crew, I'd have done that for way less. So we ended up doing that job. It was sheetrock on the inside because the roof had leaked, as well as it was a big roof. But the thing is that I still legally had to charge that homeowner their deductible because of the contract that we had signed. It was all contingent. So they saw how much that insurance claim got approved for. And he was not happy about having to pay that deductible. But I had to send him the invoice because I didn't want to get in financial trouble over it. So legally I had to send him the invoice. So he saw that claim. And I'll tell you, if that would have gone through HomeSource USA, the best bid that would have come in would have been below $25,000 for somebody to do that job. So that means he would have gotten a check for, quick math on that, that's $50,000. Let's say the deductible and the public adjuster's fee together, $15,000. He would have gotten a check for $50,000. $50K. And his roof got done for, let's just call it $25,000. So that, like, a $50K check would have gone into his bank account, and then he would have paid a roofing company, whatever the bid came in at, say $25,000. He would have paid a roofing company $25,000 to do that job.
Just to be absolutely clear, at the end of the day, had he gone through HomeSource USA, he would have not only had his roof fixed perfectly, but he would have had $25,000 more in his bank account at the end of the day.
Technically, more than that, because he still had to pay $8,700 deductible.
Yeah, right. So he would have, his bank account is
$25,000 hit in his bank account.
Yeah, right. So he would have profited, quote unquote profited, $25,000 less the deductible. Yeah, that's not the right word. So I put that in quotes. But at the end of the day, he would have had thousands and $25,000 more in his bank account when all was said and done. Plus his roof was fixed, and he would have the convenience of going through HomeSource USA on top of that.
So an example of what we did while we were still building this app. So the app wasn't built. I'd worked with a real estate agent friend of mine, talking with her. She knew what was going on, which, by the way, we're trying to get a testimonial from her. She was selling a client's property, and she said that she thinks it needs a new roof. I said, perfect. You know what we have building right now, so we can't do it through the app, but I can do it manually. Like, I know how to do this. So we set her up with a public adjuster who ended up getting the claim paid out, $8,000. And then I called around and got a bunch of bids on the roof for her, and ended up accepting $8,800. So they got insurance claim was $16,000, and they got paid. They paid the roofer $8,800.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's just amazing, the value that you're bringing to the table, and you're the only one, as far as we know, that's doing this. And so it's a no-brainer. Once homeowners understand the concept, it's just a no-brainer for them, and that's why this has so much potential.
Yes, it's crazy. All the new tech coming into this space, it's all for the roofer. Like, all the new tech, all these new fancy CRMs will allow you to quote a roof. Homeowners can get free quotes on their roof by just typing in their address, and roofers just already have their input in there of their price per square. None of this necessarily helps the homeowner. Nobody is fighting for the homeowner. So I think that's where we really stand out. And then that's where our business model is so good, is that we are fighting for the homeowner at zero cost to them. If they go to an adjuster, they already have their hourly fee that they have to charge. Well, in Louisiana, they have an hourly fee. In other states, every state but Louisiana, they charge a percentage. They can be contingent. So like going with a a public adjuster with or without us, they're still having to pay that fee. Just the adjuster knows it. It's a free lead technically from us. So they're willing to give us part of their commission. And then with the roofers, they're actually having to compete. They don't have you pigeonholed by them being the only salesman at your house. So now they know that they are seeing it. And we have it in the app where they see how many bids are on the house. They see how many bids are there. So that could be a double-edged sword. If we don't have a lot of bids, they're going to know. But the whole point is to load it up with as many reputable roofing companies as we can. And just in Baton Rouge alone, there's 160 roofing companies. So, there are so many roofing companies because they know how profitable it is. And then roofing companies are going to love this too. They're going to hate it and love it at the same time.
Yeah, it's going to give them more access, right, to more opportunities for jobs. Granted, they may have a lower profit margin, but they can at least get more stability in their income, right?
They don't need a salesman, so that saves them commission right there, but not having a salesman, as well as they don't have to do a site visit. Because of the way our competitive bidding process is structured, they don't have to visit the house to be able to give an extremely accurate bid, because all the measurements and pictures are already taken. So why do they need to visit the house to measure it themselves?
So that's a great point. So really, even though their revenue per job might be lower, that still might, to your point, might be just as profitable, or maybe even more profitable because of the reduced work on their side. So that's interesting. And so now you're in this situation where you've got a lot of potential from a geographical standpoint. Right now we're going to focus on Louisiana. We're going to get we're going to get the process down, we're going to get the business model right, we're going to get the technology right, and then we're going to expand. But you've got this unbelievable potential just from geography. But then you also have this other dynamic where at some point other businesses, roofers, or people in this industry are going to see what you're doing, and they're going to want to do the same thing, and they're going to want to jump in. And so I know you have this sort of sense of urgency, like the faster that you can scale, the more opportunity you're going to have to capture a larger market share and become the dominant market leader. So in terms of, I guess those are a couple of reasons that you're raising capital, right? One is that, just the capital to build out the technology, maybe for some marketing, but it's also so you can move as quickly as possible. Can you tell me a little bit more about your thinking around, doing one or more capital raises and future plan for the business and how you want to use your funding, etc.?
I can go on for a while about future plans. The reason that I do want to do a capital raise is I understand how big this is about to be. So yes, there will be competitors, but the size of this, like you mentioned, the geographical scale of this, literally all over the U.S. Now there's more, there's states that have more hailstorms, more significant damage that happen to roofs that we're going to be targeting first. But overall, homeowners are getting roofs all over the U.S. The roofing industry alone, I think, is, $23.5 billion. There are 3.5 to 6 million claims filed every year. Half of those are for roofs. So as far as like future plans, we are just starting with roofs. Public adjusters file a claim. They are experts in the entire thing. Building code, insurance policy, that doesn't just cover roofs, that's everything. So our future plans are to take the entire thing of to build out the system, the technology, to where they don't just have to, to where contractors can give bids on entire jobs without having to visit the house. So the reason that I want to scale is because we are going to need to build out this technology, as well as we'd be able to scale all over just with what we have and with just the roofing. And the reason to raise money is to be able to get it out there in front of as many people as possible, to really build our brand awareness and to help as many homeowners as fast as possible. Because right now, every single day, they're still signing contracts with roofing companies before they know how much their insurance company is going to pay, and if they're going to pay at all. And then as far as future, it goes way more than just in insurance stuff. It's inspections on houses that are going to sell. It's solar. It's getting into the HVAC industry. Anything Home Source USA. We want to be, as soon as you buy a house, you download our app. That's how I want it to be. Anything you need, Home Source USA has it. Without frictionless. I know Uber kind of like really started saying the word frictionless. At least that's where I get it from. But we want to make it frictionless. Owning a house, like we said earlier, is already a major investment. It's already kind of scary in itself. You are obligated to pay that mortgage, and if you don't, they foreclose. But it's already a major investment, so why make it harder? Or it's already kind of hard whenever you don't know if your AC goes out. You don't know who to call. So we want to make it easier for them. Like if my AC goes out, I know exactly where to go. Home Source USA. I got a hole in my wall. Home Source USA. Hole in my roof. Home Source USA. Anything that they want to do, Home Source USA that's the future.
So exciting. I can't wait for you to get there. It'll, one step at a time, but I could see it happening, and it's very, very exciting. So yeah, well, what else did we miss? Is there anything else that you want to share about your experience at Home Source USA that we haven't talked about?
Not that I can think of. I think we covered it all.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Well, Taylor, I appreciate. We love working with you. We love your energy, your creativity, and your passion is just off the charts. So we've had a great experience. We're really excited, we're just really grateful that to be a part of your team and be partners with you. And we definitely look forward to this. Is there, before we sign off here, where can people find you or find Home Source USA?
Yeah, so you can visit our site, homesourceusa.com, to really check us out. You can download our app. It's available on both platforms. You can also give me a call. I don't know if I can say my number here, but can I?
Go ahead, yeah.
225-304-2625. I've got unknown caller blocker on, so just leave me a voicemail or shoot me a text. I get way too many damn calls. But I'd love to talk to you. But yeah, we plan on growing very fast, and we're going to need people to do that and money. So if you're interested, definitely let us know.
Sounds like a great plan, Taylor. Well, thank you so much. It was really great talking to you today. For everyone out there, hope you got something out of this. Just goes to show you how your life experiences can lead to unexpected things, and if you keep an open mind and you just persevere, that great things can happen to anyone. So thank you for joining us for this version of the Tech Room podcast, and we will see you soon.